Here you can see all the chicks are still doing okay. On day 7, they're all still pretty happy and they're all still alive, which is the important thing. Okay, so day 7, chickens are doing well. I did end up going to Tractor Supply today, which this may turn into a bit of a rant video, but I went in there and I explained my situation to the girl that was manning the chick booth there. And she basically just stared at me like she had no idea what I was talking about. I explained, I got them on Thursday. I come home Friday. One of them's dead unexpectedly. That night, one of them's sick, ends up dying that night. And then yesterday, I had another one die, not of the red pullets, but of the barred rocks. So she goes and gets the manager, and I explain that to the manager again, and she's just like, huh. I haven't had anybody come and tell me that before, that they've had their chicks die. And then she looks at the other lady and she's like, have you heard anybody say that? And she's like, no, I haven't heard anybody say that. So I was like, seriously, you haven't had anybody report any kind of issues with their chicks after they bought them here? And they obviously, they didn't offer me any kind of refund or anything. Actually, they had another guy speak to me and he was like, yeah, I don't know, could be anything. What temperature do you keep them at? And I said, well, 90 degrees. And he's like, oh, that's too cold. And I said, no, it's not. They're 2 weeks old, basically. So 90 degrees is the perfect temperature. And he's like, well, no guarantees when it comes to livestock. So they were all kind of jerks there, and I wasn't very happy. I don't know if I will shop there again. But the nice thing is the lady did come back, and she gave me this stuff here. I'll show that to you. This is for possible respiratory infection. This is Tetracycline hydrochloride soluble powder, if I can say that properly. But you can get a look at the bag there. So if you're having problems with your chickens, this could potentially help them. This will go in their water. This is for like respiratory infection, which I guess is what they probably thought that they had, especially when I explained the mucus in the one's nose like I talked about in yesterday's video. So this actually makes a lot. Like you could really take care of all your chickens with this. 100 gallons of 100 milligrams. So this make 100 gallons of solution for them, and it's sort of like an antibiotic. So I'll give it all to them, and they said over the next week I'll be able to see if anything happens. This should take care of it. They apparently do keep this in their water at Tractor Supply, so I find it hard to believe that I'd get any that are sick. But when I was there today and I was kind of looking at the conditions, they really have those like metal bins that they keep them in, like packed with chickens. And I honestly think that some of them were left over from last week, because some of the red pullets that I saw there today were actually older than the ones that I have. Like they actually have feathers, and they were quite a bit bigger than what I have right now. So I honestly don't know, but I'm going to give this stuff to the chickens, and hopefully this will do a little bit to help them out, and I won't lose any more. And I think maybe after the 7 days has passed, maybe I'll look to get some more. I'm kind of reluctant to go to Tractor Supply just based on my experience there today, and I just kind of feel like I've done everything that I can to maintain these chickens, and I think it's honestly something from either where they get them from or from Tractor Supply in general. I kind of feel like the place is like a, you ever go to like a pet store and you see that, the animals there, they're probably not treated properly. So I'm going to try this, and I think it'll help. I just hope this didn't turn into too much of a rant video, but I feel like people should know what I've gone through with these Tractor Supply chickens, and maybe if you're thinking about buying your chickens from Tractor Supply, you might want to rethink it, because I've had 30% of my chickens die that I've purchased from them, and I've shown you guys everything that I've done to take care of them, and I really feel like I've done the right thing. So I guess we'll just go from there. And I don't expect the people that work there to be experts or anything. Obviously, they only have chickens for a month out of the year, and they're having like all kinds of a crazy like run around down here. But I don't expect them to be experts, and I'm fortunate that they gave this to me. But I wish they had a little more compassion, and maybe even offered me, my money back for the 3 that died, or even offered a replacement once, once these ones are okay. But we'll take it for what it is, and hopefully I can get these ones all good to go and get them outside eventually.
Hey, little chicks. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Look at this one. They found the bottom of the pen and they start pecking at it. You gonna do it? Don't be camera shy. They get all scared when I come down in here, because I usually pick them up to check their vents, and they don't like getting picked up, so they're all just running around. Look at you guys. Come on. Do all the funny stuff you were doing earlier. Oh, jeez. One last thing, some helpful information on this Duramycin tetracycline. I looked up online. They don't give you very good directions on how to properly administer this. They kind of give you directions for chickens, and it says like use 4 to 800 milligrams per gallon, which I'm nowhere near a gallon here. And then it gives you conversion up here on how many gallons 800 or 400 milligrams makes, so you can see 25 or 12 and a half gallons. But I'm using a quart jar here, so I did some research online. It was asked quite a bit, and apparently 1 tablespoon makes 1 gallon of this. Okay, so I did the conversion then online to figure out how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, and there's 3. So I took a teaspoon, since I have a quart jar, I filled the teaspoon up like maybe 2/3 of the way, and then I poured it in there. I poured some water in, and then I poured that. And here you can probably see a little bit better. It kind of looks like lemonade a little bit. I'm sure it doesn't taste quite as good, but that should be a good conversion that I'll use. And it says to use it for 7 to 14 days, so I figure I'll use it for the whole time frame. So I'll put this in their cage, and hopefully they drink it and get all better. And there's their new water. Drink, my pretties, drink. I moved their food back into that bowl because I ended up buying, show you this thing, I ended up getting a top for that. So the food you fill up in here, and then it comes out down here, and they peck at that. So I'm just kind of trying to use up the last of that before I fill this up real good. So I'll have an update tomorrow, and hopefully they're all still okay, and they better drink some of that.